Okay, so today I'm in a Nissan Elgrand 2008 and I'm looking to change the old CD and mini disc player into a Android head unit. Here we go. First, with not much pressure at all, I've been able to pop this out up the top here. So same on both ends. I got a little phone repair tool here, plastic, might save a bit of damage that I'd probably get from a screwdriver. On the other side of this, you can see I've got a ground connector there, which I might use later on. Just on this here, it even says the GND, and this top unit here, which I'm going to keep with my DVD function and everything. That's the DVD is just plugged into this section here, and I might pull that out. Just have to use a screwdriver to sort of jimmy some of these plugs out. And then next I'm going to be unscrewing the brown connection here, these screws, to take this plate off and getting into underneath here. To pull this plate off, you can see just what those little attachments are there. Yeah, no stress to them really. I used the screwdriver or that same little plate on the side, and again I got these screws here to take off down the bottom. With a little bit of pressure, managed to screw the back of this off, to undo this plug, to be able to pull it all off. So I've got the screws off now, and I'm ready to take this plate off and start unplugging everything. Let's go. Before it all starts to pop out, and you can see it's slowly being able to pop out, I have to unscrew these two extra things which hold onto the plate, which hold a lot of this together. A few extra screws. Just, where is it? Can you get into focus here? Just ruined a screwdriver here. My favourite screwdriver. It's $1 down the drain. And we're off once I've got those 4 screws. So the 1, 2, actually there's 4 up top, and then 4 down the bottom along here. We're good to go. Slowly pull this out and unplug things as we go. The main thing holding me back just then was the thank you button, we call it, or I'm in trouble button. Just plugging off here, and then I had a little, this is a microphone or remote control sitting on the front. That's the main resistance pulling it up. So next I'm going to pull out the last of them, and I'm going to show you, which is one of the main purposes of this video, is all these connections at the back, because that's what kind of held me off from buying a new one for a while, and I couldn't really find what these plugs were anywhere. Alright, that was quite a horrible experience just then. I had to unscrew this bit here to get in a little bit closer. It's quite tight. Used a screwdriver to unplug this last connection, and then the rest of it was mostly hey, my most handy little tool so far, my fish grips. Usually use this for fishing, but because it's got something there to pop down, these little cables, bit of a mongrel, you have to squeeze down on this little bit here and yank out at the same time. So you can see I've done a little bit of damage there to the plastic just at the top, gripping onto something to push it down. Would have been better to grip as far up as you can on this little ringlet here, and then use that to yank it out. 1, 2, 3, 4 to make a bit of space. So this is the back of my connector. I hope you can see the shapes here, and I'm going to have to take a couple of photos, just a little bit closer of what everything is here. If you can see and count, sort of, I suppose I don't have a ruler in the car, so I can't really measure what we're going to do to getting those correct measurements there. Also, on this end, So this is for mini disc, radio, and that main sort of connector as well. Here's my ground plug. I've got a few more things buried back here, so I'm going to see whether I need to make a few adjustments for getting into the steering wheel controls. Let's see what's attached. So yeah, I can see in this plug here ACC. Chances are that might be air conditioning, but for the rest of it, I got 4 plugs plugged into the back here. This is for the stereo only as well, so actually those plugs up the top for aircon, they're plugged in differently, which sort of comes in and out from the top there, so not to worry. This is a bit of a heavy beast, this one, so really happy to see you go because you don't work. Next phase. Next phase is checking that my fascia is going to fit, because I might have to stop right now and plug everything back in the way it was. And you know, it's just sitting just before punching it in, so it's going to work. It's going to sit well. And next I've got to undo, I think mainly this button and a couple of things up top and plug it into the new fascia. I'll put in the stereo last. Alright, I'm back at it a day later. I had to buy an extra adapter for the antenna, and this ends up having a bit of power in it too. I needed this to power on the device, but I've also wired this up correctly. There's a Nissan 10 pin and a Nissan 6 pin adapter that I needed. All the colors matched up, so purple to purple, green to green. Where is it? There's a little black with a white with a black stripe that matches together. Anything left over I just sort of taped up, and yeah, used a bit of birthday present wrapping to keep everything there nice and tight too. Tested it out, I plugged it in, turned it on, made sure the stereos work fine. This here plugs into the 6 speaker CD player in the back, so that doesn't work in this car at the moment. Don't know what happened, so I'm not plugging it into anything. Now I'm moving on to unscrewing this so I can put my little GPS receiver, not even sure I'm going to use it, put my GPS receiver into the to the wall up here. Yeah, I might film that again, so I'm not going to ruin this bit here trying to dig that out. It doesn't want to go, so I'll just put it here, and then with the screwdriver just jamming that in to the outside so that cord's hidden underneath here. Much easier, and it fits underneath. That comes out here for my antenna, and I don't know, maybe Wi-Fi as well. Yeah, just hit a nasty snag. When I put this back in, there's nothing that can really protect this from being pushed so hard from the other side that it pops back out or that it pushes back. None of these screws here or knockoff are actual screw holders. This one is just. So I'm gonna have to find a way of making this a bit firm. So now I've had to glue this on, just put a layer of glue all around the outside here. Hopefully that's going to do it. Who knows if I'm going to be back here in a week or two to patch up the glue again. Everything's plugged in the back and just starting to jam bits and pieces in now. Make sure you're not going to forget anything. Let's see whether we can get this done in the next 10 minutes. And there you have it, finished job. Everything's all screwed back up now, back into place, fits nicely. A little bit of glue problem there, but that'll come out over time. That was the only sort of main challenge, that I had to glue this back on. I did have to use a bunch of tools to pull things apart, to pull things through. Unit's great. Fire it up. Let's turn it on. Bluetooth works fine. It's, you know, this thing cost me 9,000 yen, so it's about 85 US dollars, not even. Bluetooth on it's fine. It's fixed the sound in the car. Car sounds much better with one of these units rather than you know, the old system, which was, yeah, had its years. I got a lot of leftover screw, a few extras too, so this came off the original. I get Japanese radio as well, which is great. I don't have the controls for the steering wheel as well, so that's something extra out back. There was 2 more things to screw in key, so I suppose in the future, if it's really bugging me, I'll go in there, and there was a key 1 and key 2, and I'm sure that'll get me in the right direction for plugging it in. So yeah, great little system. Not so easy to do, but once I opened it up and got in the back and found out that I needed that extra Nissan 10P and 6-pin, yeah, I was fine. Just excuse the 5 o'clock bell here now. It's time to go home. See ya. Short video about removing this useless CD stack here. The cords are going into the back. We've got a few extra bonus cords here. But also a main one, there's ground, and ground is plugged into the back of this little socket out the back here. The rest of the cables carry through and are going to go into the TV unit, not there, TV unit underneath here, so I'll probably try and pull all of that out at the same time. So plan B, I've just popped the plate off here on this piece here, and then I'm just going to unclip these, shove everything underneath there, all the cables, so this can go and I don't have to worry about unwiring anything else. Probably the easiest and best solution to not using this anymore. And wasn't so friendly to remove either. If that needs to get attached back on, it'll need to be welded. It was only this main power cord that needs to be brought back on. This, and where is it? Turns out there is a little connection here for AV. I don't know how that would work or plug up. This thing wasn't working, so it's done. Job's done. I'm gonna tidy this all up now. Forget about it. And had to get underneath here. These were glued on, so screwdriver underneath there, pop that up. No more little things sticking through here to hold that in. Much better space out the back here too. Job's done.